I'm here at the 2016 Great American Outdoor Show, and I'm excited to be joined by our headlining act tonight with the NRA Country Concert. We got Justin Moore. Justin, first I just want to thank you for taking a few minutes to sit down with us, and thank you for playing the show.
Thanks for having me, man. It's good to be up here, even though it's freezing cold. For a southern boy, it's cold up here, but we're proud to be up here. Anytime I have the opportunity to do something alongside the NRA, I always try to take advantage.
That was one of the first things I wanted to ask you. I know you've always been an avid supporter of the NRA. Heck, you even wrote one of the original theme songs for NRA Country.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask just if you could talk to our readers a little bit about what has made you so passionate about that, and why you've been so willing and ready to work with NRA Country and the NRA in general.
Well, I think it's important to conserve our constitutional rights. One of which, being the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms, and in order to, hunt for sport and protect our families. Most importantly, I have 3 daughters and a wife at home who, my biggest responsibility in life is to protect them, and NRA has done a great job of conserving those values over a long stretch of time, and anything I can do to help out, I'm always happy to do so.
And we couldn't be more appreciative of that, and I know the fans out there feel the same way.
Yeah.
So we'll talk music a little bit here.
All right.
So I know Backwoods has been one of your biggest hits since it came out, and I know a lot of the folks out here can really kind of understand the theme of that and where it's coming from, or can relate to it in some way. I heard it came together in 20 minutes.
It was a quick one, man. It was off our first album. It was the single that followed up our first hit record, Small Town USA, and some of them fall out of the sky and they're real quick, and you write them and you don't have to beat your head against the wall too much to get them. Some of them are the complete opposite. It takes weeks to write. But yeah, that one came together quick, and I learned with my first single, Small Town USA, that people all over the country grow up with the same experiences. Growing up in Arkansas, I thought the only country people, or the only people that lived the way that I lived, or grew up the way that I grew up, were in Arkansas, where I was. And with Small Town USA, I learned that there's people all over the country that grew up with the same values in life, and so we decided with our music that would provide keen insight as to who I am as a person. And I've learned again that who I am as a person it parallels the way that other people are as well. So that's another reason that was a big hit record for us.
Now, of all your tracks, I know one that'll resonate really well tonight, and with the NRA crowd in general, is Guns.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about just how that song came to be, and if anyone had any reservations with just calling a song Guns?
Well, it's funny because that was on my second album, and my producer and I wrote the song, and we're writing. That day we had written 2 or 3 other songs that day, and a guy came in, a buddy of ours, and we said, "Hey, you want to finish this song with us?" He goes, "What's it called?" And we said, "Guns." He's like, "Y'all crazy." And so he didn't even get on it. So, but my record label, I have to credit them they've always kind of stood behind me and said, whatever you want to go to do it, and within reason. But I've never shied away from being who I am, and that's the greatest thing about this country, is that we can all, in theory, we should all be able to, disagree on things and still get along, have a beer together. It doesn't always happen, in particular election year like we're in right now. There's a lot of mudslinging, obviously, but I've never shied away from who I am, because I can't fake it all the time. You're going to slip up, and so this is who I am, like it or hate it. This is who I am, and who I'm proud to be. So.
All right. Well, I know that's one thing the audience, especially here, can respect and will resonate well with them. Let's switch gears a little bit. We'll talk hunting. I know with your schedule, you probably don't get nearly the opportunity to hunt that you'd like to.
No, you can always hunt more. But I, just not to interrupt you, but I always make time to hunt every year.
Well, that was my follow-up. I'd be willing to bet you make time somehow.
Yeah, we actually take off. Typically, the end of our touring season is mid to late October, early November. So, bow hunting, it gets a little tough because, you know, in Arkansas it starts in mid-September, I believe, and so I don't get to do a ton of that early season. But we're off for 2 or 3 months during the thick of the hunting season. So, you know, being in Arkansas, duck hunting is huge. So I get to do that, and I always make time. Deer hunting's my favorite, but so I always make time to do plenty of that. So
you're more of a whitetail guy?
Yeah, well, growing up, that's what I enjoyed most, and my grandfather taught me anything and everything that I know about hunting, and he was a big whitetail hunter, and that was just what I did more of. You know, Arkansas is world famous for duck hunting, and I do that and I enjoy that, but there's nothing like sitting in a tree to me, waiting on a big buck.
You got a story you could tell our readers? Kind of favorite, a particularly memorable deer?
Yeah, you know, I'd killed a number of, you know, 6 points, 8 points, you know, growing up, but nothing, just no studs really, and no really big mature deer. And I always hunted with my grandpa. He was my hero. He passed away of cancer a few years ago, and a year or two after he passed away, I went on a hunt in Texas. I started going different places to hunt, just because I have developed a relationship with Cabela's, and they're the main sponsor of my tour over the last 4 or 5 years. And went to do a hunt in South Texas, and killed a pretty nice 11 point. My first one to hang on the wall. So that's the one I always remember. I've since killed more that I'm proud of, but that's the one I always remember because I know he was smiling down going, he finally got one to hang on the wall, so he can shut up now.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, one of the big exhibits at this show is the Outfitter Hall. A lot of folks like to go through there. You got guys from all over the world pitching hunts. Do you have something you'd really like to get out and hunt, given the opportunity?
Yeah, it's I've been able to do a lot of really cool hunts that without my relationship through my music with the people that I've met, that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do. But I've always wanted to moose hunt, so I'd love to go up to Alaska and get on a big moose. That's my next goal. I've killed a nice elk, killed some other things, obviously deer, ducks, but I want a moose.
I think a moose is a fair bucket list hunt to have.
Right, yeah, right.
That's a big old animal.
That's right.
All right, now I know you haven't had a chance to really see the show floor yourself. We were talking about before the interview started the big crowds we've been having. And what do you think that really says, I guess, about, you know, the turnout we get, the turnout we'll have tonight, all these folks willing to come out and support the show and the NRA?
I think it just continues to reiterate what we all know and what we all stand on our soapbox and tell people who how important the NRA is for, you know, conserving our constitutional rights. I think that you know, when people show up in the numbers in which they have throughout this convention, it just continues to you know, impress upon people that you know, these rights that we were given so many years ago are highly important, and they've not diminished in any way over the last however many decades.
All right, Justin, that's about all I've got for you. I want to thank you for taking some time to sit down with us.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great show tonight.
Thanks,
and
man.
Stay warm out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. It's gonna be tough.
Thank you.